Hello, everybody. Today we are going to do something different, and we're going to, bring poetry into this session. So Rajesh is going to share his top five Ghalib shares with us. So, Rajesh, handing this over to you. Which five Ghalib shares are your favorite?
Okay, Ananya, thank you very much. I've always been an admirer of Ghalib, like so many hundreds of thousands of millions of people, really. Uh, and he's written so much. But five shares in particular, I absolutely love. And so I'd like to share with the readers, with the viewers, uh, which are these five and what they mean to me personally. So the first share is on criticism. And before I come to the share itself, I have to say that as a writer, you have to get used to criticism. And you have to take criticism in the right spirit. It said, in fact, there's a story about Ghalib himself, that somebody came to Ghalib and said, ye jo aapne sher likha hai, there are a few things wrong with it. And Ghalib said, okay, tell me. And then that friend says, this is wrong, and this is wrong. And Ghalib says, oh, very good, thank you very much. I've noted all your criticisms. And then when the friend leaves, he takes an eraser or whatever was the eraser equivalent at that time, and he scratches off everything. He restores it to its original. So, of course, it was not easy to be critical of Ghalib. But I think Ghalib makes the point in this share that we have to be open to criticism. I remember many years ago when my second book was published, a certain critic published a very harsh review of it. And I was very upset. But you have to learn to take criticism in your stride. There are two things about criticism. Sometimes good criticism can improve your work tremendously. So criticism is something you should actually look forward to. But when criticism is not good, you should choose to just simply ignore it the way Ghalib did. Anyway, that's a long enough prelude. So coming to the share itself, it's a two-line wonderful masterpiece. Ghalib bura na maan jo Vaij bura kahe. Vaij is the elderly, the critics, the knowledgeable people. Ghalib bura na maan jo Vaij bura kahe. Aisa bhi koi hai sab acha kahe jise. So I remind myself of this whenever I hear criticism, कि भाई कोई ना कोई तो criticize करेगा ही यार.
Okay, Rajesh. So that was the first share by Ghalib. Now coming to the second one, which one is it, and why is that share very close to your heart?
Thanks, Ananya. The second one is, I would say, on the importance of preserving an overall positive attitude, even though you see that things are going wrong, though you see that things are difficult. I think the writer Noam Chomsky, he writes somewhere, he says, I'm a pessimist when I look at things, but I'm an optimist by determination. So I choose to be an optimist. So I think, that's a situation pretty much in the world today, that all around we see wars, we see famines, we see, illness, disease, we see foolish leaders. At the same time, we have to be positive. We have not to let all that's happening around us get us down. And everybody, when they listen to a piece of poetry or to a sher or to a ghazal, they have their own meaning, which they take from it. And this is the meaning which I take from the next sher by Ghalib, which is on the theme of, according to me, from my perspective, keeping an overall positive perspective on things. So coming to the sher itself, it's one of his best known and most beautiful shares. हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत लेकिन we know that all around, there's chaos, there is warfare, there is bloodshed, there is famine, there's starvation. It's not something beautiful. but still you want to be positive. हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रहने के लिए गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. So of course, at one level, it's a very literal thing that you don't believe that there is a Jannat, unlike these suicide bombers. But still you choose to believe in it because it's something which gives you a little bit of positivity. So I do love the share. I'll repeat it once more. हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रहने के लिए गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है.
All right, Rajesh. So before coming to number 3, I had one question that I wanted to ask. So, are these shares in order of your preferences?
No, Ananya. Thank you. They are not in any preferential order. I love all of them equally. And coming to the third one is on the theme of how, our desires are ultimately never fulfilled completely. There are always things which are left over. Today, I feel, I wish I had learned how to sing, or I wish I had learned how to cook. As they say that, as life goes on, you don't regret the things that you did as much as the things which you did not do. So there's so much you want to do and you don't do. In my case, I had a plan before Corona came and disrupted it. I wanted to see all the countries in Asia. So I had started with Japan, I went to China, I went to Indonesia, I went to Malaysia, to Vietnam, Cambodia, and I was going pretty strong, and then Corona came and upended the whole thing. We all of us have our desires. Somebody else may have a different desire. And Ghalib says something very beautiful about this. So one of my all-time favorite shares is, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. I'll repeat it. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पर दम निकले. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पर दम निकले. You want something so badly, it's almost as if you're dying for it. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पर दम निकले. बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान. Many were the desires that came to fruition, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. But they were not enough, because as long as you live, they will probably never be enough.
Okay, Rajesh. So, do you have any share by Ghalib on courage? Because I think courage is also a very important trait and undermined by many. So, do you have any on that?
Not on courage specifically. The specific courage ones are more like by other shares I can think of. For example, there is a share, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. But there is one on which I admire very much, which you could say is on courage in a way. And I think of this share whenever I have to do something which has an element of risk in it. And I think that is related to courage in a way, because sometimes you think, if I do this, what will be the consequences? But the consequences, according to Ghalib, are often not as horrific as one might have imagined. So one should go ahead with it. And it's very funny, this share. It's very beautiful, but it's also very inspirational. And थी खबर गरम के गालिब के उड़ेंगे पर्दे, that Ghalib will be destroyed. You will just find, him completely destroyed. देखने हम भी गए थे, पर ये तमाशा ना हो. So you might fear that you will be destroyed, but when you actually go to see, the results might be completely different. It's one of the shares which I find inspiring.
All right, Rajesh. So now coming to the last share, could you tell us what that is and why is it that you love that share specifically?
The last share, which I like of Ghalib, it speaks of the transience of relationship. So we all speak of the importance of love, importance of trust in relationships, and sometimes we are disappointed. But for me, this particular share by Ghalib, it teaches us that don't be disappointed if your faith is not, you know, if your trust is betrayed. I mean, of course, to some extent, you will be disappointed. We are all human beings, but learn to take it in your stride. That is how I interpret this particular shade. मैं नादान था जो वफा की तलाश करता रहा गालिब ये ना सोचा कि एक दिन अपनी सांस भी बेवफा हो जाएगी. The end of the day, even your breath will betray you. So we should have trust, but don't be too set off your stride if your trust on occasions is not fulfilled or you're disappointed in someone.
All right, so those were the 5 shares by Ghalib that we talked about today, and all of them were equally beautiful. So, thank you for watching this and getting to know about these shares. We will see you soon with yet another episode.